Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Checkpoint on Campus. I am your host, Norris Howard, joined alongside Jacob Brothers. And if you're noticing that there's something a little bit different about the set today, it is because half the continental U.S. is enveloped in a massive blanket of snow and ice, and a lot of people around the country are out of power as of recording. So we just hope everybody remains safe and warm, no matter where you may be. But you're not here to talk about the weather. You're here to talk about some esports. So, Jacob, HBCUs had a giant Madden tournament over Super Bowl weekend. Tell us a little bit about that. And for those who don't know, HBCUs means historically black colleges and universities, which it makes it double poignant considering that February is also Black History Month.
Yeah, so basically it was just a HBCU Madden tournament that took place, as you said, during the Super Bowl weekend. It's supposed to be there in Tampa Bay with the Super Bowl, which would have been tight. It would have put it on a map in a much more significant way than what ended up happening of the NFL being like, yeah, we support diversity. Go to this Twitch link, you know? Like, but yeah, it was a tournament that was just kind of single elimination across like 4 different conferences that made up of 15 schools, and then the final stretch of the tournament was best of 3, and then the final saw That Guy DJ and Stop Sweating. So one thing I will say before we talk about this is that probably one of the biggest perks of this tournament is the names. You know you're going to get some good names. When you have a final between That Guy DJ and Stop Sweating, you know you're going to have a good final.
Listen, I'll say this. I am not a big Madden person, but
same.
There are some big personalities in the Madden community. And so when you get folks who are so passionate about this game, you really get some great esports viewing. And I check this out, and this was cool. I really enjoyed the fact that it was a HBCU tournament, as Jacob said. 5 different conferences. So you had the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the MEAC, Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and the Southwestern Athletic Conference. They all were participating. That Guy DJ was coming from Clafton, and Stop Sweating was coming from Grambling. Again, these are our legacy HBCUs with a history of athletic prowess, but not so much esports. As we begin to see esports grow, we're seeing HBCUs get a lot more involved in the esports space. And you know, Jacob, I want to ask you this, and not necessarily about HBCUs in particular, but knowing that in the same way that a lot of sort of commuter schools and other smaller state schools kind of could never compete with the giant state schools when it comes to football, basketball, baseball, whatever. Do you think that for HBCUs, esports is a viable thing moving forward, considering that it is a lot cheaper to run these programs?
Well, I think out of everything that we've ever learned about collegiate esports, is kind of like the main bullet point is that everyone gets to play, which is kind of, you know, the cool part of it. Is like, it doesn't matter the size of the school. It doesn't matter what kind of school you are. It doesn't matter, you know, any of that. It's that if you're good at the video game and it's easy to play the video game and it's not that expensive to run the video game, then you can play, you know? And so, absolutely, I think that it's just another avenue that more and more schools will be able to use to just kind of get into the esports scene and kind of get on the map in general.
Yeah, and I think it's absolutely vital to sort of erasing the digital divide that exists between 100%. You know, black communities and black students and students of other state schools or predominantly white institutions. I think that's very important. So you get kids introduced to high-end PCs, PC repair and building and all that kind of good stuff. Whereas, you know, it's very easy to grow up in Chicago and have no interface with a high-end PC ever, really, to be perfectly honest with you. The era of having desktops in the home is kind of gone. People don't do that anymore. You have tablets, you watch everything on TV, and you have phones. You don't really have desktops outside of gaming or work for a lot of people. So I think this is another great avenue for that. But back to the state of play, Jacob, how did this one actually end up in terms of this Madden tournament?
So it turns out that guy DJ, also known as Eric Miner, won the tournament, and he took home $5,000, with second and third place taking $2,500. So we're seeing good money from Madden again.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is it? I don't get why it's Madden. I don't. I mean, I do get it because big company, NFL's like, hey, we like football, but like, it's Madden. It's not.
And it's like, come on, man. When you got entire tournaments where 5K is the grand prize after a whole season, and like they could do $5,000 for a one-off tournament over Super Bowl weekend. Like, I mean. Come on, man. Like, you don't have to give away $1 million prize pool for, a respectable purse at the end of these competitions. 5Gs. I mean, listen, Jacob, you are a recent graduate of college. 5Gs probably would be a life-changing amount of money in undergrad.
Slightly significantly, kind of. But I mean, that's something that we have talked about off air, just kind of slightly, is like, if these tournaments are able to offer these kinds of prizes, then you're going to get a lot more. You're going to get a lot more competition. You're going to get a lot more people entering, a lot of programs, and people trying a lot harder. And so, I think if esports followed what Madden is doing, I think that would make the whole scene better in a lot of ways for a lot of schools and kind of everyone involved. Yeah. But it's nuts. It's just you watch the Chargers, win a game. It's like, hey, there's $5,000.
No, it's really cool, and so I hope that we see more of this, especially coming from HBCUs, and more of it coming from smaller one-off tournaments. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. Riot, Activision, Blizzard, wake up, guys, because I mean, if EA starts throwing money around. This is EA we're talking about, the evil empire, the people who made $1 billion off FIFA card packs last year. Like, once they start throwing money around for these tournaments, I mean, there's a lot of people that's going to be focusing on these tournaments as opposed to other ones. So I think everybody needs to take notice and say, all right, yeah, 5G's not a lot right now, but it's a lot more than what we're getting from a lot of other places. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope to see more.